Hello, everybody. This is the one and only DJ Rafiki. I am here giving you guys a review of the all new DRM series speakers and subwoofer. I just recently picked up a pair of these DRM 315 three-way professional powered loudspeakers along with the DRM 18S powered subwoofer. As you can see from the outside, these things are amazing looking. Very sleek design, very upscalish. Nothing too out there. They just look like some very good speakers. What I'll do on this review is I'm gonna be able to go through, give you guys a rundown, pretty much of the things that you guys want to know, the connections, a couple things that are on there, quality, where to get them at, and my thoughts on the speakers and the subwoofer system. All right. Well, as you'll see, as we go into looking at the back, you'll see the connections. Pretty standard stuff. We got the two-way quarter-inch XLR connections on there. This is for the 315 speakers. Pretty standard. Volume control on each of them. One of the things that I do like about these that you do not typically see on other speakers is the fact that you can actually also see that there is a auxiliary input on these as well too. So it helps. So say for example, if you have an iPod or whatever the case might be that you want to hook up, if you're doing these for, say, I don't know, whatever you would probably use that for, like say like maybe like a barbecue or something along those lines where you don't need to have like a full DJ setup. That's also a huge plus. As you can see underneath, they have the direct outs, which will allow you to connect these or daisy chain them to another set of speakers if you need to. Pretty standard stuff, stuff that you normally would look for when you see on these speakers. We'll go down to the subwoofer, and you'll see pretty much similar stuff. Two inputs. You'll have, like, once again, the quarter-inch XLR combo jacks. The difference on those is instead of it just only being the input and the one out, you have a direct out, which is exactly how it sounds. So that way, if you're hooking up the subwoofer directly from the mixer and you want to hook up a top to it, you can do that. But also too, it has a high pass filter option as well. So that way, if you would like to use a high pass filter, which in essence what that does is removes most, if not all, of the bass out of the top speakers. So that way the lows are only coming through the subs and the highs are only coming through the tops. Me personally, not a fan of it, but it is an option if you would like to. Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and move on over to the screens that are on the back of each of them, which is one of the things that I absolutely love about these. As you'll see, they are a ton of different options on the back of these. If you mess around with it, you'll see that there is an option to be able to, well, obviously for first off, the knob itself works as the master volume gain. And first of all, let me just take a step back. The reason why I love the screen on the back of these speakers and subwoofer is the fact that I'm pretty sure most DJs, one of the things that we usually worry about is if we're pushing our equipment too far or too hard. I know a lot of times, especially with my other setups that I have, where I do have the JBL PRX series or even like the QSC speakers, the only way you know that you are pushing the speakers too far is when the limit light comes on. As you know, at that point, it's already a little bit too late. So if you are pushing them too far, it's a little too late. And the only way you'll know is the limit light will come on. On these, what I like is that you can see each channel that is hooked up. You can see the level that they're coming in at, as well as the master level, which is what's going out. So you can see if you're sending too much signal to it and if you're pushing too much out of it, so you can be able to adjust accordingly. Um, I absolutely love that. So as you see, you can change the different settings on the speakers, to go from live sound, club, speech. You can change the subwoofer setting to be able to put if you have a subwoofer on or not. You can adjust the EQ for each band accordingly. I just absolutely love these. I just kid you not. Like you have no idea. As someone who does mobile DJing, this is probably one of the best investments and things that you could probably get. So you have an onboard, basically DRM that you don't have to actually pay extra for. Um, that alone, I feel, sets these apart from other speakers that you potentially would be in the market for. But yeah, I mean, I just absolutely love them. I mean, as you see, as you adjust the gain, as if you're sending too much signal, it gets very high up there. I've actually haven't had these clip yet, so I don't know what that actually looks like. But you can, and honestly, it's pretty hard to probably do that on these, especially since you can see the levels. It's almost kind of like making a DJ mixer clip. For most people who actually know what they're kind of doing, um, the obvious thing that you hear anywhere you play, like any nightclubs or any of those cases, stay out of the red and you're good. So it's pretty self-explanatory on that. On the subwoofer, pretty much the exact same concept. Um, you will notice there are a couple different options, but pretty much the exact same concept. You can see the input gain from each. Obviously, the subwoofer can be turned up a lot louder, or a lot higher, I should say, seeing as it's only taking in the lows. But you have pretty much the same concept. You can change the different modes. Usually on subwoofers, I just leave them as they come and just change the volume to raise it up, or maybe if I can increase the low end, I would do that. But for the most part, these come to where all you have to do is literally just plug and play. You don't have to make any adjustments to them on the subwoofer part. And how I usually set it up is I will run my left and right channels out of my mixer straight. One of them, well, if you have two subs, you can do it this way. You could put one for the left, one for the right, and then you can daisy chain the direct out into the top for the speaker. I only have one subwoofer, so I don't have to worry about that. I just do one channel, usually probably the left into the sub, and then daisy chain that into the top, and then I'll run the other one, which will be my right channel, directly into the right speaker, and we'll be set from there. Uh, All right. So one of the things I can say, the quality of these are impeccable. They're made out of solid wood, which I absolutely love, which makes a huge difference on the sound, especially when it comes to the bass and the low end. It does not sound very mushy, or it doesn't sound mushy at all, honestly, I should say. They are very comparable, if not slightly better, I would say, to the JBL PRX series speakers that I have currently. Um, I have no issues with them. Honestly, the like I mentioned, wood cabinet, the grills are super nice looking on it. The handles are very sturdy. They're made out of like a hardened rubber, which makes it super easy to carry them. And speaking of carrying these, they're actually not even that heavy. I want to say the three-way speaker probably weighs about maybe somewhere between 55 to 65 pounds, which is a little bit, but it's not super heavy. And then the subwoofer I think only weighs maybe somewhere around like the mid 70s. So it's not a very super heavy setup. Definitely is something that you would probably need to either, I would probably suggest if you could have to be set as like a permanent setup somewhere, or you would definitely need to use some type of dolly or hand truck type system to be able to move them. But Honestly, it's not too bad on your back, especially for most mobile setups that I have used before previously in the past. Um, let's see places to buy these. I obviously you can get them directly through Mackie. I know American Musical Supply sells them. And if you do a quick Google search, I want to say you can also get them at Sweetwater and Guitar Center. And I feel like they're all kind of going for around the same price, which is, I want to say about 1200 for the subs. And I want to say about 1300 for the tops. But either way, they are definitely a very good investment. I would highly suggest getting some covers for them. I made the mistake of not getting them, and they do tend to scratch a little bit easily, more easily than you probably would expect. Only because they are black and the finish on them is really nice. So when you move them, you have to make sure that you don't rub them up against another speaker or anything else that could probably rub up against them and scratch them. And that's the only issue that I have, honestly, is that if I would have bought covers for them, they would probably look brand new forever. I did end up getting some on my JBL speakers, which I ended up getting, and those things are a lifesaver because now all I have to do is just put some polish on them, and they look brand new, and it keeps them from getting all scratched up. And they definitely do help tremendous a bit. Um, all right, so my thoughts. Honestly, if you were in the market looking for a new set of speakers, I know Mackie probably isn't one of the ones that probably be at the top of your list, especially with the price point that they're at. But honestly, I definitely would give them a look. The only thing I could say that I did not like about them, and this was just from first glance when I first got them, is I noticed that the speakers in the subs did not have a fan on the back of them, which I've been used to from like the JBL speakers that I had. I know most QSCs have those as well too. But after reading the instructional manual, you'll notice that it actually has an internal cooling system, which is what keeps it from overheating. And I actually put that to the test, and it actually works very well. I actually have used these so far at a wedding, a pool party, and an outdoor barbecue, and haven't had one issue with them at all. They sound amazing. Haven't even pushed them anywhere near to their peak. So honestly, I can say that these are definitely worth the money. I was actually in the market looking to probably get some three ways for some stuff that I was planning on doing in the future. These came out right on time. Picked these up, and I am extremely happy with them. Everyone I know who has heard them have been extremely impressed. Even the wife, she likes them as well too. They really do look really good. Um, let's see. I mean, I can't really think of much else to say. Oh, the only other thing I can say, which is kind of standard, but one of the things that I can say that I did not like is the power cord on these is the standard size ones that normally come with most other like non high end brand speakers. I know my JBL ones, the power cord is about 6 feet long, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That comes standard with it. These are about three. It's not too much of a big deal, but if you are trying to set these up and say a plug is not nearby, which means you would have to run an extension cord to connect the sub and the speaker to run it to your main power source, which isn't too big of a deal for most people. I know it's not going to be a deal breaker for most. It's just something just to keep in mind if you were looking for something for the cord to be able to reach far distances. That's the only thing I would probably say would need to change on these. Other than that, I would definitely highly suggest these speakers to anyone who is looking for a new rig and a new mobile setup. If especially if you are, say for example, like a smaller bar, or maybe even a small nightclub looking for some additional sound for your venue. These three ways are on point. Um, it sounds so crystal clear. Like I thought that my JBL speakers were clear, and these actually sound clearer than those. And just the two three ways by themselves had my office rocking when I was testing them out. So the bass and the low end on those is very good. The response is very good. My suggestion, if you guys don't believe me, Guitar Center usually has one of these setups set up somewhere, so you can always go there, check it out, test them out. Bring an iPod or something with some music that you normally would play on there, and or at least I know the ones in Vegas do. And then you can actually go there, test it out, even do a side by side comparison with these, the QSCs and the JBLs, and see which ones you like. I know usually with um with stuff that isn't QSC or JBL, more than likely these might be on sale sometime in the next couple months if you guys are looking to try and get these. But definitely, I would say give them a shot because these are definitely worth it. They might not have the name value that most people usually kind of go for, but I will say JBL, I'm sorry, Mackie definitely stepped their game up when they made these. Honestly, they're very on par, if not slightly a little bit better than the JBL speakers that I currently have. I have had those for about 2 years. Um, but yeah, I honestly have nothing bad to say about these. I'm very happy with the purchase, and definitely looking forward to using these over the next couple years. If you guys happen to have any questions, go ahead and ask them down in the comment section. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video and looking forward to hearing from you guys. Take care.